364 days is evenly divisible by 7, as we've seen, 52. And that's one of the reasons some scholars define this calendar as a septenary calendar because of its numerical harmony around the number 7 with the week of creation and the heavenly motions, because it seems to keep the structure of that 7-day week as its first rule, right? That's what some have speculated. I can understand why they would say that about it. 52 weeks are uninterrupted weekly cycles of 7 days. That's a key for me because when I first came to the understanding of keeping Sabbath and wanted to pursue it, I saw the other way that people do it based on the phase of the moon, and they weren't uninterrupted weeks. You're just
Right.
stopping in the middle of the week because a new moon has happened, and it's like you're starting a new week after only 4 days, or sometimes they work 7 or 8 days before the next Sabbath. And I just couldn't get down with that because it didn't
Yeah.
seem right. It didn't seem to fall in this pattern of repeating 7 days, working six, and resting the seventh. The 12 months has a repeating pattern of 30, 30, and 31. And we're going to see that here in one of the animations I have prepared next for Enoch chapter 71, where it's going over the first law of the luminaries. We'll see that exactly proved in the text. Whereas 4 seasons are going to be evenly divided into 13 weeks of 91 days each. 4 times 91 is going to be your 364, and 4 times 13 is going to be your 52 weeks. So it's all working mathematically. Whereas the dates of the
Nice.
calendar are always on the same days of the week. Maybe you guys can comment on
Yeah.
this, because the first day of the year is always Wednesday on this calendar. Passover is always a Tuesday, and the last day of the year is always on a Tuesday. So what do you guys think about that concept?
Yeah, it makes things easy. Makes things predictable, moving
It's
forward.
seems to flow with Genesis 1. If the fourth day of the creation week was when the sun, moon, and stars were put to start counting days and seasons and years, then that would make sense. That's the first day of the week.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lines
Yeah.
up
First,
with Passover and
yeah.
the New Testament as well. The Gospels, Yeshua's Passover, and that unleavened bread, the day he's crucified, all that. I think it lines up really nicely in that.
Yeah. And so if the weekly Sabbath, the 7th day Sabbath of rest, is on a fixed day of the week every week, no matter what year it is, as we believe, then it would make sense that the rest of his Sabbaths, which are his feast days, appointed times, would also follow that same pattern. And on this calendar, they do. And this is the only calendar I've seen where that's the case. But as a result of this being the case, the calendar dates always falling on the same days of the week, the weekly Sabbaths never overlap those high Sabbaths, or the Sabbaths of the feast days that are appointed for rest on the appointed times. You never have those overlap. And this is something that really stuck out to me in my first couple of years of trying to observe these feasts. I would just, the first year, I think I just Googled basically what Judaism does. What is the Jewish calendar in modern day Israel, and how do they keep it? And I would often find that certain feast days, whereas it's supposed to be a Sabbath, it was falling on a weekly Sabbath. And I felt like, am I getting gypped out of 2 days of rest here? Is this being taken from me? Or
Yeah.
is it really supposed to be like this? It never felt right. But lo and behold, on this calendar, which we say is the way it's supposed to be, they
No
never
jipping.
overlap. Right.
Yeah.
You don't get gypped. That's right.
Yeah, it's
Interesting.
another reason why I love it. Yeah.
Same. The calendar represented in the books of First Enoch, Jubilees, and the Dead Sea Scrolls do harmonize with the calendar details preserved in the books of the modern Protestant canon. So these are some of the key points I feel like really made this calendar attractive for me. And I think it does so for a lot of people.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a selling point for me as well.